Alright guys, we're back for the last video of Supercoach 2025 before the season starts. This is Wednesday, I'm recording this. Season starts on Thursday, typical Richmond Carlton. So we'll go through the team, who I've kind of got locked in now. Unless there's like pretty crazy like selection news, I think this is probably the team I'm going with. Obviously the rookies could change, but that everyone's going to change rookies to whoever is selected, right? So that is what it is. Let's get into it. So Sheasel is someone that I think I've had the whole time. If I haven't, it's just because I'm looking at a team without him to see if I like that. But yeah, Sheasel, 67% owned. I think that this is just a very easy pick. If he plays defender, he'll score good. If he plays in the midfield, he'll score good. If he plays forward, he's not going to play there the whole game, so he still should score fine. If you're looking at a top 6 defender, you have to kind of hit that 110 mark. I think scoring could actually go down a bit this year. I think it's been so inflated over the last couple of years. Maybe it's going to come down this year. It's kind of the trajectory says it should come down. We'll see if it does. For him to be worth his price, he does have to hit that 115 average here. But I think as long as you hit 110, you're a top 6 player, it's worth starting you, right? Like, people can make the argument, well, there's more value in a Naz, or I think even Max Holmes is like a real good pick this year. But off last year, I've learned that like you just go surefire things in your starting team. You can always trade in potential, but it's hard to trade in these surefire guys because their price just keeps ballooning up and up. You lose trades doing that, you lose boosts doing that. So the kind of idea I've got is just trade in start with all the guys you don't need to trade in. Next is Jordan Clark. Another guy I think should hit that 110 mark. 105 last year, but if you really look at the games, it is closer to 110. I think Luke Ryan, he's going to have to change the way he plays a bit this year. If not, I mean, that's 60k I've got to make up to get to Ryan. I could be persuaded in you drop Clark and you go to maybe a Tom Stewart who plays really good for the first 3 rounds. You go to him. Max Holmes maybe. Midfield, natural progression of his career and stuff, he becomes really good. There are a couple of options. Pardon me. For right now, though, sticking with the idea of just get in the good players. I wish I could get to like Sinclair, but I just can't afford it. Martin's right there. I could make that move. But I don't know, Martin, I'm a little bit iffy on. I don't like his disposal. I think he's kind of like real choppy with the ball. We'll see how it goes once the season starts and like this actual game film and not pre-season film. So many people decide their team based on pre-season film. Nobody is going at 100% in pre-season. Either everyone's hurt or everyone's acting hurt so like that they don't have to try. Pre-season means nothing. Them cutting it down to like 2 games a team is for the best instead of doing this whole like tournament thing. But yeah, Jordan Clark, he's in. Freo chip it around that back line so much. I think you have to have one of the people from there, and Clark is 60k cheaper than Ryan. And then like the next best is a huge step down. So yeah, gonna go with them. And then I've actually got Jaden Short here. Now this is really the only pick that goes against my idea of like don't start potential, start with really good, already like proven. But there's no one that's really going to accumulate touches in the Richmond defense. Who even is in the Richmond defense nowadays? Because Rioli's gone. Rioli was taking a fair amount of kickouts last year. Where are Richmond? Vlosten's not a disposal guy. Ben Miller, no. Broad, no. Bolter's not playing again. And then it's like a bunch of these young guys who you probably don't want to be accumulators because they're so young. They're not going to be able to see the game properly, turn the ball over, and now you're down 100 points instead of only losing by 50, 60, right? Makes the team look a lot worse. I know as a West Coast fan, we were feeding touches to Alex Witherden. So that's one of the big reasons why we were losing by 100, right? So you want people to have the ball that are experienced but also know how to use it, and Short's shown that. He can play defense, he can play in the midfield. I think there was a couple of stretches last year that were like trying him on like the wing or something like that, right? It was he's very he's a player that you can move the magnets kind of anywhere to make him fit in the team. So he's someone that I'm honestly not too afraid to start. The note there as well, I mean, 22% owned. There's a lot of people on this pick. It makes sense, right? This does make sense. Like, even if you look at the last couple of years, West Coast, they've been bad. But if you look at, like, Shannon Hearn, who was taking all the kickouts, who was getting all the, like, kicks to him to, like, then set out the team, right? He was still scoring good. He was around a ton, and for someone that was his age, that was pretty good. So I'm fine with Short for now, until something else pops up that makes me change my mind. And then last one of like the premium guys in defense, the like guys I'm actually paying up for. I'm taking. He should be here. Matt Roberts. So if you watch the opening round game, Sydney didn't look great. Something looks off between their midfield and forward line. I think the problem is their forwards, since Buddy retired, they haven't actually found anyone to replace him. Someone that can you kick the ball to him and there's a good chance they grab it, right? Like, they haven't really got someone like that. It's hard to find in the league. Like, you could probably name, there's like 5 to 7 of them that like, they're surefire. You kick the ball in their direction, they'll come down with it more times than they don't. They've struggled to find that, but I think the one spot where Sydney still looks good, and like a reason why I have them still doing well this year, like I think there could be a little bit of a hangover between changing coach and the grand final blowout. The reason I have them still doing pretty good is their defense is solid. They gave up a lot of points to Hawthorn, but Hawthorn are a very young team, a lot of energy in that team, and plus they had to play Blakey as a fullback lockdown guy. Obviously that's not going to work. But their defense still looks good, and Roberts looks very good in that defense. I'm pretty sure I haven't got the stats up, or I haven't like looked at them to memorize them or anything, but he was taking all their kickouts. So even if Sydney do bad, if they force a couple of behinds, then there you go, he scores pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with Roberts. A lot of people are as well. I mean, this is very cookie cutter, this type of defense. This is probably what you're going to see more times than not. In terms of like other guys you could go with, I think there was a bit of talk on Perryman. I don't really want to touch Collingwood. I think Collingwood looked the worst of the opening round teams, and by a large margin as well. They look old, they look slow. We'll see how it goes once Houston comes back in. I think Houston plays this week. I can't remember. He's got a suspension or something like that. So I think it's this week. We'll see how that could change it. Houston's like basically the best in-play kick in the league. So if he's not the best, he's like a top 3, top 5 best kick in the league. So that could help them kind of like free up the game so their age doesn't show as much. But man, like their defense looks really old, really tired. Their forwards, they look washed up. I mean, it's just what it is. Tim Embry, like, buddy, it's time. Yeah, like there's a lot that's missing. Dacos obviously is like still the best player in the league. Don't get it twisted, but yeah, that team looks really old. So I'd be a bit cautious going on a guy like Harry Perryman, um, because they might need to change up that team if they start pretty poor. Who else have we got? I mean, De Koning I've been interested in if he rucks, which he will because there's not much ruck competition in Geelong. It's been a problem they've had for a long time now. I'm surprised they just haven't gone, all right, instead of trading for another high value, like high big name midfielder, big name forward, let's just go get a ruckman, right? Like trade up in the draft, go get a ruckman. Here is your guy. They haven't done that, so I'm guess they're pretty happy with how De Koning's working for him. If you can free up the money, D4 or something like that, D5, more so D5. It's not the worst. I think this is a guy that, depending on how he goes the first 3 rounds, you change up your team and you bring him in. There is a play that I'm looking at making between Riley Sanders and De Koning, where once Bont comes back, you can see how Sanders goes. If it's not to your liking, you just swap to De Koning, who's rucking, who's by then should have a DPP, you'd imagine. Either ruck, maybe forward, something like that. Like, you look at Blitzarves, right? Over the years, Blitzarves has played basically every position. So if De Koning can do something like that, I don't think you're going to see De Koning on the wing, but if he could, move around a little bit, that'll make him very valuable in the game. Mills, we'll see with him because like this is multiple like compounding injuries now. So I think this was a foot fracture. I think, or like his first injury is a foot fracture. Now this is a muscle problem. That's a lot of compounding injuries. Typically, if it's bone stuff, I can overlook it because it's less likely to repeat an injury if it's a structural one, like a bone injury. But muscle ones do kind of repeat a lot, and Mills is getting up there with these muscle injuries. So, enough waffling. Let's go on to rookies for defense. I've got Ben Patton. Same idea as Roberts. He could get dropped, honestly. So this is the round where I said, like, wait for team sheets and then just bring in the guys that are playing. There'll be enough rookies playing, especially for round one. But don't get too attached to these guys. Zach Reed, I think everyone has him. Essendon need new look defense. That defense is really bad, and it's I was about to say it's the main thing that's holding Essendon back, but I think it's more just general incompetence when it comes to structure and a game style. And then you look at it, they extended Brad Scott, which I think is a shocking, terrible, terrible idea. He hasn't done anything that makes it look good. Maybe extending him 1 year is okay, but chalked team. Forwards, I mean, you got Caddy who's developing. Nick Martin can't play forward because he can't kick straight. Merritt's aging. None of the young mids look that good. Sardis has shown some things. That's why he's in most teams. And then the defense, I mean, Ridley is good for a lockdown, but that's about it. Ben Mackay was a huge overpay. And then who else? Right? So I think a guy like Zach Reed, they need him to show some potential. Then I'm also going to go James Leake. It's either Leake or whatever. And then Traynor. Traynor could be the sub, so this is one I'm not super attached to, but there's not really that many. Like, Bo Allen's not going to play because he's sick. Perriman's too expensive. Yeah, there's not really much here. I mean, Jackson Pryor, I guess he should play because they brought him over from Brisbane. And I mean, that's about it. Riley Bice, I didn't even know if he played opening round. Caleb Smith could play. Yeah, I mean, Gibcus, I mean, he's hurt at the moment. Yeah, he's done his ACL again. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, no one there really stands out to me. Onto the midfield. Had Bont for a long time. Had Butters for a long time. Can't use either of them now because of injury. Neil is an easy pick, but there's something that just tells me, hey, he can't keep this up forever. Eventually, age has to set in. He can't stay at a 120 average for like the last... How many years has he done this? I don't think this shows like previous averages, but how many years has Neil been doing this? Surely at some point, LeBron meme here, the you know what has to stop at some point. Dacos, the cramping, the potential calf issues, underdone preseason. I think I'm okay with waiting on Dacos. I know I still say he's the best player in the league, but I think I could wait on this pick. I think you could... Round 5, say Collie would get off to a shocking start. I think they beat Port, but who else have they got after Port? Can I see this somewhere? Dogs they should beat. Carlton they could lose to. Say they lose to Sydney and say they lose to Brisbane. So you get to round 6, they're 2-4. Maybe in that stretch, Dacos doesn't score too well. He's not great versus Port. Against the Dogs, you're just kind of hoping that other players take the scoring, but that's probably not going to happen. Carlton, he's had some poor games against them. It's like one of the few teams that he's under 100. Same with Sydney. In that case, maybe you bring him in and he's just visually under the 600k mark, right? So we'll see how that goes. I'll wait on him. So that means M1 is Caleb Sarong, who I think is a Brownlow level player, but I don't think he's ever going to win the Brownlow because he's just playing in the wrong time period, right? Dacos is going to basically be a free 35 to almost 40 votes every year. Cripps, well, he's playing the Victorian bias, right? They give Cripps all the votes. He's also got you're a WA player, so you have to work harder and have better stats than everybody in the league if you want 3 votes. But yeah, so Sarong and Brayshaw. This does not look good to me. This looks like it's going to mess up. Brayshaw starts season slow, but this is the first year that he said he's had an uninterrupted preseason. He's gone completely, A-OK, perfect through all of it. Sarong, like I said, he's actually one of the top players here. I would take Sarong over Neil because of age. I would take Sarong over Treloar, obviously. Heaney's I think I'd still take Isaac Heaney because of goal threat. I'd take him over Merritt because of age. Dunkley, Dunkley doesn't... not washed or anything. It's still 110, but it's not Dunkley of West the Bulldogs days where he's putting up 150 a game and all that stuff, right? That's not happening anymore. At least not consistently. Sarong is very, very good and his spot's solidified. The only problem with Sarong is last year they were playing him a bit half forward. Hopefully, Shai Bolton coming in, that doesn't happen anymore. Sarong and Brayshaw stay in the midfield full time. They do not go up forward. Unless it's the 5 minutes rest where they're kind of working the interchanges, stuff like that, right? This doesn't look like it's going to work. Because, if one of them scores 130, right, which you need kind of around 120, so 120, that puts them at 240. The rest of the team is probably about you look at the defense as well. You want Clark to go at 110. That's 350 points between 3 players. Luke Ryan's not going to be terrible, so that's another, say, 100 points there. I don't know. I don't think this is going to work, but It's the best I've got for now because I don't like Cripps. I don't like starting the season with Merritt. Dunkley, I'd need a bit of convincing, right, to start Dunkley. Especially because he's so low owned. If that doesn't work, then you're really screwed. Versus like, what's Brayshaw at now? 11%, not terrible. And then it's a bit of a drop off, honestly, because rookies aren't great this year. So you kind of had to pay up for everybody. I've gone with opening round standout all day. People are going to say, "Oh, you're point chasing. You've done it again. You're point chasing." He looks incredibly good. He looks like someone that can impact every phase of the game. Midfield, he's a disposal accumulator, but not like to 40 touches a game, right? If he gets like 30, that's a 30 to say 32, something like that, right? That's what I have him kind of averaging. He can kick a goal. He can play solid defense. He can move out like outside midfielder. Hawks' natural progression should be better this year. Should be. There's a lot more pressure on him, so they could be like a couple of wins worse, but I still think they make the 8 and put up a fair shot. Meek is not bad. He bullied Grundy, who was like one of the top ruckmen last year through at least like 15 rounds. How do they go against a Tim English? Well, Meek is bigger, so you think that Meek wins this matchup. Marshall, I think, beats him. Sherry, I think, beats him. Gorn, I think, beats him. I'm cool with this pick, honestly. I think that even a Jai Newcomb isn't a bad pick. Now, with Newcomb, it's more his efficiency has to go up a lot. And his general play sense has to go up a lot for this pick to be good. But say Will Day doesn't work, right? And this is why I'm actually like okay with doing it. Josh Dacos is playing half back, so you've got an option. You've got, if you go up about 30k, you've got Connor Rosie, who he's injured at the moment. I had him here for a while. There was an injury in the preseason. I think it was like him and I don't know, like Powell Pepper or something like that, doing like a ones tackling drill, and it just like landed on Rosie's ankle. That's not great, like a week out from the season starting, but yeah. You could even say D'Ambrosio has a good stretch like he did last year, where he's like tunning up every game. You could go to him. Do I have Adam Chera? I do, okay. I didn't know if I did. Will Ashcroft is another one that I'd keep an eye on, same with Finn Callahan. Both of these guys looked... Ashcroft didn't play in opening round, but he looked really good in the last half of the season. I'd say maybe the last 5 games of the season. Callahan, again, natural progression. If he plays inside, we'll see. But, Tom Green still has to come back. So if you look at the opening round, just remember there was, no Tom Green. So the inside mid minutes and game time he was getting, there was no Tom Green. So, yeah, going on to who I have. Clayton Oliver, who I think is a steal at this price. He's priced at an 83 average. He should be able to get to 100. Full preseason. Melbourne, there's not much pressure on Melbourne anymore. They should be alright. And then Chera, there's a couple of injuries, honestly, with like Walsh out. I think Hewitt's out. Cripps, I swear I saw a story about Cripps being hurt, but they're not showing anything here. De Koning's not bad. I think Chera is good for at least like the first month of the season or 2 months, and then you kind of just use him as an upgrade piece, and you go up to whoever's up here that you like. Maybe it's Petrarca or something like that. And then you got the mid rookies who keep changing for me. I've got Finn O'Sullivan, who, it's North, should play. Elijah Sardis, who, again, should play. Essendon need some of these young guys to get serious game time and show some serious potential. And then Mitch Nevitt, who looked really good in the preseason for Geelong. I wish they had the opening round game because, like I said, you don't trust preseason games. If they played opening round, you'd actually be able to see how he's playing. If he plays the role he had in the preseason game, then he's an on-field easy pick. He should make so much money, and then you trade him on. But yeah, I mean, he looks good. And then on the bench I have O'Driscoll. This isn't going to work, is it? It's going to be like that. Yeah. Surely he gets game time now. He looked good. Had a good off season leading into preseason. Freo boards are pretty happy with him. And then Levi Ashcroft, who I think Ashcroft could struggle for scoring, just because struggle to get consistent games, and when he's in games, get into positions where he can score. Just because Brisbane, they're coming off a premiership, right? It's not like this is a bottom of the table team. They're coming off a premiership, so they're probably going to want to keep a lot of their team the same. We'll see how it goes, though. I think he'll still be fine to make the 150k you need from a rookie, the extra 50k on top. I think he's good for all of that still. And then last one, I'm going with Max Hall. Kind of a St Kilda standout from preseason stuff like that. Should get games. St Kilda's another side that they're looking really old. They need to just start bringing in these young guys, right? Like start working them in, getting, see who your diamond in the rough is. You've spent all these years drafting pretty high up. Surely you've got a couple of good players. Yeah, even North have a couple of good players. And then Rucks, Sherry, DeConey. I had Meek for a minute, but now that I have the money for Sherry, it's an easy trade up, right? Sherry should be Ruck 1, should probably be the number 1 player in Supercoach this year. Yeah, probably. It's either him or Sheasel. So I think this is easy. I think he overtakes Gawn this year. Even if you listen to like some of the Triple M, SEN, or the Radio Row rubbish, Gawn sounds like he's, this is the first year he's really feeling his age. Stuff like that. Like he hasn't had the best preseason, stuff like that. He's not happy about how the team is. I think Sherry is just going to be the number 1 player in Supercoach. And then DeConing, with no Pitney for like a month or 2 months, something like that, he has to solo ruck. There isn't really anyone else that they're going to play. Go Carlton. Pitney's not playing, and then Hudson O'Keefe is, he's done his hammy, so there you go, he can't play. I'd imagine they're going to like switch ruck with someone random. Maybe it's Harry Mackay or something like that, right? It'll be someone that's pretty tall. Maybe Wiedering or something like that. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with them too. I think DeConing is averaging 10, it's rounded up 102. Should be able to get to the 110 range, at least while solo rucking. After that, we'll like reassess. If he makes 100k, goes to 650, you drop him down to a Tim English or a Lloyd Meek at that point, or maybe Darcy's back and he's solo rucking, go to him, or maybe Darcy's injured and they're calling the season for him. You could go to Luke Jackson. There's a couple of players here, right? Conway, how long's he out for? It doesn't say. Sam Draper didn't look bad either in his preseason game, but it is preseason. And then give me Harry Boyd, who maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't. Is what it is, his minimum price. Alright, so for forwards, no nonsense, you pick Horn Francis. I've seen a lot of teams also go with Rankin, and it makes sense for me to do something like this because of how I said, just bring in the guys that are going to score good. Sheasel's going to score good, Clark will score good, Sarong will score good, Brayshaw will score good, these two will score good, Horn Francis will score good. Rankin will score good for a forward, even if it's not like 110 to fit in the midfield. He'll score good for a forward. You could do this if you drop short. I'm just not really happy with defender rookie stocks, right? Otherwise, I'd make a play for it and everything like that, but haven't got the cash. Then We've got, he's around here somewhere, Jack McRae. 67% owned. He's going to be one of the highest owned players. He's not, this isn't 2017, 2018, 2019 Jack McRae anymore. He still should be fine. I don't know if he's going to hit 100 average. I think a 90 average is like best case scenario. But the forwards look bad this year. For Supercoach anyway. Like, I mean, Jake Waterman's a good forward. Kerno's obviously like all-time great. Harry Mackay's one of Coleman. These guys aren't bad. They're just bad for Supercoach. The problem I've had with Supercoach for the last like 3 or 4 years, and you can check every year when it comes to picking forwards, I bring this up. The scoring is so suited to midfielders. You're picking midfielders at every position. Midfielder. You'll see as I go through the team, I'm only picking midfielders. All these forwards aren't playing the forward role. That's an issue. Why do we have a forward if you're not picking any forwards? But yeah, anyway, so next one is 380. Where is it? 389. Why am I missing it? Where is he? Oh, okay. I don't know what happened there. Why I couldn't see it. Oh, because it's average. Okay, whatever. Bailey Smith. I think this is an easy pick. Like, just do it. The ownership's high. Just do it, right? Like, it's not that much. Now, could you go Bailey Smith out? You drop short to like DeConing, like I said, who I think is going to do real well. And then this kind of gets you to Rankin, but I'll check that afterwards. Yeah, I don't know. Just pick Bailey Smith. It's not going to be that big an issue. And then Riley Sanders. So, I kind of brought this up before. Riley Sanders without Bont, without Treloar. Is there another injury for Richmond? Richmond Bulldogs. No Ed Richards to start the year. No Cody Waitman. Ugle-Hagen's cooked. Riley West. Bailey Dale. I mean, there's basically no one here playing in the midfield for them. So I'd imagine Sanders is getting 100% mid-time. If not, I mean, like what? Matthew Kennedy is taking all the time from him. There's not even many midfielders here that would play. You know, I mean, Libba, I mean, there's him, but you know, you need, what, a rotation of about 5 of them. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with Riley Sanders. I think he's actually a gun player as well, so we'll see. I mean, Bevo could still do the Bevo effect, but we'll see. And then Caleb Daniel, is he the highest owned player at the moment? Yes. Okay. We'll see how it goes. I don't think his body's going to hold up for long. And I think if North Melbourne start losing games and you see how Caleb Daniel plays, I think a role change could be coming. But for the first month, 2 months of the season, I think he's fine to play, right? I don't think he's going to be anywhere near F1, right? But we'll see. And then we're down to rookies. Davidson should play because, I mean, Ugle-Hagen won't be playing, and I mean, Waitman's not playing. There's a lot of forwards and stuff not playing for them. We just went over it. Give me Kako. He should play. He's not going to score amazing, but he'll play. They need that excitement and small forwards and stuff at Essendon. And then Connor Stone. He looked alright for me, for what I saw from their Collingwood game. Now, like I said, Collingwood looked really old and slow, so maybe the forwards are kind of getting the benefit of a doubt type of thing. But Stone's also like in contention for a wing role, so we'll see how it goes. And then who do I have there? I have Pal Pepper, who is currently average, like he's priced at 52, so that should jump to like 75 to 80. 30 points there will be 150k value. you trade him on, and it'll help in upgrade season. Trust me. Picks Pal Pepper, whether he's on your bench or maybe F8, something like that, F6. It'll work out. Trust me. So yeah, that's the team. We've gone 35 minutes. I thought this was going to be a bit faster, but happens. Now I just wanted to check. Can I do this? If I went Bailey Smith, Bron Rankin, and then 315, a bit low. Yeah, and there's not really anyone I like. I mean, Brayshaw. So I go Brayshaw to like LDU. That only gives me 10k. Walsh ain't playing. Goulden ain't playing. Tom Green isn't playing. Yeah, I mean, now we're down here. I mean, if you went Petrarca, but then that's very cheap in the midfield. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that would work, honestly. Can I just, if I press refresh? Yeah, okay. But yeah, so that's the team for this year. Truth be told, I think this is the last year. I'm going to be going, like, making videos and content around Supercoach and playing full tryhard and everything like that. Yeah, so full, like, I don't know, LeBron, John Cena World Tour, last time is now type stuff. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes. One last season, right? So last year I should have done better than I did. I went back and had a look at it. I should have done a lot better. I copped a lot of really, really unlucky injuries at the end, and none of them really made sense. None of them had injury histories either. So, yeah, we'll be back Monday talking about how round 1 went. I'd like to do more AFL-based content, like on the games instead of on Supercoach. I think that, doing the research for this team, there needs to be a positive news AFL show. There needs to be one. And if I can do that, then hallelujah. I'll be at this game, Richmond Carlton. Then I'm going to the 36 degree, 37 degree, that's going to be terrible. And then we'll see. Maybe I'll head down to that one. But yeah, anyway, see you all Monday. Could be Sunday night, but it's going to be Monday, let's be honest. Anyway, see ya.